After the secret about the baby switch years ago was exposed, Laura hurriedly fled the wealthy family with her daughter. When her mother-in-law tried to stop her, Laura shoved her to the ground. She then drove straight toward her mother's nursing home. At the gas station, she dared not use a credit card and could only pay in cash, all the while fantasizing about how she might one day reclaim everything she had lost. When Laura arrived at the nursing home, she deliberately prepaid a full year of care, then took her daughter and went into hiding for the time being. After hearing the news, Carl and Tom also rushed to the nursing home. When they arrived, they happened to brush past Laura just as she finished paying the fees. Sharp-eyed Irene immediately recognized her father's car. Laura quickly grabbed her daughter and ran. Tom chased after them but once again narrowly missed Laura. As the three of them were discussing whether they should call the police, Tom received a phone call from Laura. She threatened him, saying she would never let him see their daughter again. Laura was convinced that both Carl and Tom cared deeply about the child. She wanted to throw them into panic first and then negotiate terms, planning to wait until they contacted her on their own. What Laura never expected, however, was that during her absence, this period would become the most peaceful time everyone had experienced. Although everyone missed Irene terribly, they weren't overly worried. They all knew just how much Laura loved that child. Before long, the day came for Rosie to recover and be discharged from the hospital. Carl's mother hid by the doorway, secretly watching her granddaughter. Rosie quickly became the darling of the entire family, and Carl's mother eagerly insisted on bringing her home after discharge. Meanwhile, Laura was still waiting for Carl to call first so she could set her conditions, unaware that Carl was busy bonding with his biological daughter. He lingered outside Jenny's house for a long time, too nervous to go in, until Jenny returned home and brought him inside herself. Even so, everyone felt awkward when they saw Carl, especially watching him interact with Rosie. As Rosie's adoptive father, Tom felt particularly uneasy. The room fell silent. Unable to endure the tension, Carl decided to leave. Tom followed him out and urged him to come back inside for dinner. Yet whenever the two fathers talked about the children, they inevitably thought of Irene. They both deeply loved Rosie and Irene. A few days later, Laura, who still hadn't been contacted by anyone, began to grow anxious. At that moment, she also received a text message from Jeff. Deliberately trying to provoke her, he used Rosie and Jenny to sting Laura, claiming that Jenny had already taken Rosie back to Carl's home and that there was no longer a place for Irene there. Laura felt increasingly irritated. Around the same time, Tom proposed to Jenny with a bouquet of flowers. The two lovers finally ended up together, and no one paid Laura any attention at all. Using the child as leverage in her attempt to return to the wealthy family, Laura came up with another scheme. She had Irene contact her husband, hoping to test his reaction. When Carl heard Irene's voice on the phone, he completely lost his composure and anxiously asked where the child was and how she was doing. Before Irene could answer, Laura deliberately snatched the phone away. Hearing the urgency in Carl's voice, Laura became certain that he truly cared about Irene. Whether she could return to the world of wealth now depended entirely on this child.